goes the birthday boy on the underlap. Smash the like button, comment, subscribe. Oh no, he's just a YouTuber. He ain't got that in his locker. Oh my! He never gets told. I've shown you a million times. Smash the like button, comment, and that good.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on. Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. I could take it from here. Another day, another DG live stream. People deluded. I'm back again. If you're on Twitch, appreciative. If you're on YouTube, again, appreciative. Appreciative of all you lot who consistently support my content and everyone who's tuned in. Smash the like button, comment, subscribe. Remember, it's a live stream. It's an all-inclusive platform. Any comments, talking points, get them in. Because while I like to go over the news with you lot and offer my opinions, it's you lot that make the platform. Thank you on that as well. Now, today's a special day, out of, when was it? At 11:30, the 13th of the 4th, 1995 in North Middlesex Hospital. 7 months in, I had to come out into this world 2 months early. My thing is different. A special lad was born in it. It's my birthday, mate. So smash the like button, people. Appreciate you lot. We're still working and appreciative of all of you lot across social media who have showed man love. I appreciate that. I see some comments in the comment section as well. Quick little toast for you lot. Normal, but yeah, there's going to be several of them later, but yeah, let's get into business. I'm not going to lie, that's disgusting, but yeah, let's go, man. What you lot saying in the comments, man? More like I appreciate that. New setup, not even the other laptop's bust. It's in the repair shop. I'm going to get it. I've been trying to play around with stuff. I'm having, you lot can't see the space I'm operating in, but it's peak. Like, if I put on a couple more pounds, but even where I am now, I can't really move out of this chair in it. So I tried to move things around. The goal would be, I'm trying to get, you lot can't see it obviously, but this room to a position where the green screen has a lot of space. I have a lot of space, so it looks a bit better. So we're rocking with this for now, innit, people? So yeah, man, appreciate that. Yo, DJ, is that what I think it is? Yeah, water, H2O. I'd rather we fold the club than sign Kante. Bro, dramatic, much. Calm down. Obviously, in relation to Kante, if it was, Kante was probably one of the better Chelsea players yesterday and against Liverpool. Not that means much. If it was the Kante of a few years ago, I'm with you. I'd get it done. Kante on ability, I'm having him, but for his inconsistencies with staying fit, his injuries, the wages he's gonna come on, it's a myth. If Arteta wants it, then we could do a lot worse. But I don't think that will happen. But the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Henny's en route, man. You know what? I've left stuff with several people. I kind of effed up, and I got a lot of nice friends. Things are coming in the post. I can't lie to you. I need to check what happens on the post, but needs to hurry up. But he's got things I need. My birthday was 2 days ago. Why don't you say more life to us? More life to my fellow Aries babies, man. Appreciate you lot as well, man. Henny on Rose is what it is. I don't know what that is. They don't pay us to sponsor, so that's W and N in it. We can't be saluted there on this platform. Flat out, Olise not playing for my club after that pen to City. I can't stand his face now. Bit harsh. I'm having Olise every day of the week. We probably should have signed him from Reading for 8 million quid. Obviously, you've seen now Crystal Palace, he had like a 35 million pound release clause. They realized they kind of messed up with that. They've got that out of his deal. I'm having Olise. Can play as a 10, play off the left, play as a right, play as a false 9. Actually, he's young. He ties in with resale value and what we're doing as a squad. That's an indirect backup for Bukayo Saka. I think Olise shows a willingness to defend, but to play regular football for Arsenal Football Club, he'd need to go up several gears. As I said, he shows a willingness to do it for Crystal Palace, but he'd have to go up several gears. And sometimes he's a bit wasteful in possession. Respectfully to Crystal Palace, you can do that there. Big fish at a small pond. In a nice way. Olise, man, don't care that you're good, because everybody should be good. It's like Grealish going to City. Yeah, at Villa, you're lit. and you're also lit at City, but everybody's lit. So in a nice way, you're average. If everyone's a good football, I always give the example. If I'm from a small, like let's just say which I actually am from. I'm from Edmonton. I'm the smartest kid in town. I'm 9 years of age. I'm doing A levels and that, and the government go and say, do you know what? We've got several kids around the country that are levels with you, and they slap us all in a 30 person class, people full of guys and girls that are on the same level. I might have been the smartest kid in town, but if everybody's the smartest kid in town and we're all smart, are we really smart or are we average now? So it's about going up the levels. But I'm having Olise. We could do a lot worse. I think Crystal Palace would be bugging out to sell him to us. Obviously, they're probably going to lose Zaha. And they've got Eze and Olise, probably marry a couple of other players, and they're doing all right, man. Like they've got Saki on loan at Charlton again. Have to see what he's on, but he's decent. Once again, one love for the birthday messages, man. Appreciative. Hope everyone's doing well and safe, and that keep your opinions coming. But yeah, I wouldn't quite call it a new setup, but if it's decent, I'll use it. I can't lie. There's not much leg room. Like I'm having to sit with my legs in some mad position. Pause. But yeah, man. Deluded. What's your perfect summer window? Happy birthday. Appreciate that. Perfect summer window. So I'm gonna go off the words you said, assuming everything went right. For me, I'd start again. I'm sure we'd all like different players and all of that sort of stuff. But perfect window would be for me a number 8, a number 6, 2 central midfield additions. I would probably say a right back for me. Obviously, if Tomiyasu and Benjamin White are fit, that gives you some options at right centre back. And Holding's done his thing really in the games he's stepped up in. He didn't get embarrassed against Liverpool. He's one of our better players. If we're honest, against Leeds and Crystal Palace, he did his thing. We all know where we're at with Rob Holding. Respectfully, he's a squad player, nothing more. In an ideal world, probably should be on borrowed time for as good as he is in the squad and as much as Arteta likes him and all of that jazz, but he's potentially on borrowed time. I would say a right-sided centre-back. For me personally, if you could get someone like a Trossard who can play on the left, play on the right, or through the middle, I'm all, as well as a 10, I'm all for that. I would say someone that can do that primarily to provide competition / an option in case of Bukayo Saka, because we're going to have to be a bit more cute and clever with his fitness next season. So I'd say that. I would say that or a striker. Like, again, we're probably not going to go and get the strikers that are curtain raisers. I can't see us spending that. But if you could find Adebayor when he was at Monaco, Giroud when we signed him, if you could find that sort of skill set, more of a 6-foot man, someone a bit different, I'm all for that. But equally, if Arteta was to go for these Osimhen, Vlahovic, all of these sort of guys, I'd be for it as well. So I've got a lot of time for Granit Xhaka, and I still think he should be part of the squad, and it's his place to lose. And if he keeps doing what he's done this year, next year is his spot. But I think we need another number 8 to raise the curtains. And I also think the game in the second half against Liverpool displayed that, because especially, I don't know how it took them 87 minutes really off the back of how the first half ended and how the second half really was. But I think there's many ways to see out a game. I would have loved to have had Tomiyasu fit, actually Eddie Nketiah as well, to kind of help us see out the game when our backs are against the wall. And in an ideal world, at least for this year, when we're defending for our lives at Anfield, it would have been lovely to have a Tomiyasu, El Nene, people like that could come on and just Nketiah as well, help you see out the game. But I also think it showed that you need another 6. If Partey was tired, which he wasn't, or someone that could play to come off for Granit Xhaka, and you go with 2 6s and we're just fighting up against it. Or another form of defense is being press resistant, taking the sting out of games, knowing when to play those cute 5-yard passes, knowing when to frustrate the opposition, chasing an equalizer, and actually the fans. That's what the best teams do. Again, that's what City can do with Rodri, etc. We've seen them do that at the Emirates. How many times have we had momentum and they've just taken the sting out of games? I think we need an 8 who could have done that, especially because Xhaka looked knackered, in my opinion, towards the end. So I'd say midfield has to be addressed. I would like another right back. I like Olise, but he's not ready. Probably not ready to raise the curtains or play significantly for Arsenal, but we could do a lot worse, man. I see where you're coming from. Once again, one love for the birthday messages. Olise would be a good backup for Saka. Appreciate that. Of course, I'm having a good day. Swap with Lokonga. Do you know what? I want to give Lokonga one more year. I want to give him a full season at Crystal Palace. If Arteta says, you know what, we're in the Champions League, we're going to sign an 8 and a 6, it's a myth. I give him one more year. If he could go to Palace for a full year and really stand out, really look like the Yaya Toure that company said. In fact, actually, Burnley have been promoted. Company, make sure you answer your phone. I'll expect a call from Arteta. You said Lokonga was the next Yaya Toure. Next year, you better show us that, innit? So either Crystal Palace where he is, or go over to Burnley and show that. And if you can have a standout season in the Premier League, then you can finally have a future in what would be 2024, 25. Yeah, not next year, the year after. I'm sure it's 24, 25, if my math serves me correctly. Because if you imagine again, just because you're 30, 31 doesn't mean you need to get rid of stuff. But where you look at El Nene, Granit Xhaka, Jorginho, Thomas Partey, they're all approaching that age now where pathways are going to start to open. I don't know if a year from now Jorginho is going to be at the club, so that's a spot either for somebody to come in for. And I'd say even Charlie Patton, another year on loan, again review it as the Xhakas, the Parties, the Jorginhos, the El Nenes begin to get filtered out of the football club naturally, as well as bringing in additions. These guys step up. So yeah, I wouldn't swap him yet, bro. I wouldn't swap him. Morning, my guy. I like that. I'd feel squad complete, filling up those spots, and we're ready for the Champions League. I'll be real with you. I think we need some curtain raisers, because while we've done great in the Premier League, and I think mentality's changed, I think how we're playing home and away against top teams, how we're bouncing back from setbacks, whether we've lost or drawn the next week or in games, I think it's all improved. But Champions League's another ball game, and I do think we need curtain raisers. And I was thinking that off the Liverpool game, if we're crying about Anfield, respectfully to Anfield, if you got to go Bernabeu, you got to go dodgy trips, in Eastern Europe, you got to go Italy, bro, there's no Champions League's a different ball game, and with by that time, Arteta, as he's shown, he can be naive at times for all his good things in the players. Every year's a learning curve. We've built off last year, we're going to build off this year, and we're not going to be all the way there yet, but we should. But Champions League's a different ball game. We need street smartness. I'm not going to lie, I was watching the Chelsea Madrid game yesterday, and I was thinking, you know what? We should have asked for Kovacic or something when we was getting Jorginho, with the greatest of respect. Bringing Sane. We say Sane running away from Bayern Munich after Mane bust his lip. It's crazy. Mane's moving mad. Why did he punch up his teammate? Yeah, I did hear about the beef between Sane and Mane. Nah, Lokonga is dead feud. I don't think he's dead feud. Dead feud's harsh. He's not dead feud. Do I think he's it? Probably not. I think with Lokonga, more than anything, it's not mentality, but he's a bit like Ozil, definitely not in ability, but in a sense of you don't always see him. But when you pre the games again, he is there to keep the ball moving. I think he kind of plays within himself, is what I'm getting to. I think he plays within himself. I think he's a bit soft, for want of better terms. But I do think there's a player there. The problem is, I know you can play as an 8, and right now you're probably naive to the point where you probably look better as an 8. For me personally, you're not an 8 I want to see at Arsenal Football Club. Man, got Xhaka there, Zinchenko plays left back, but that's an option. Obviously, I want to see Odegaard there, maybe Fabio Vieira, and even Smith Rowe before that. I want to bring someone in, so it's a myth. I don't think you're mature enough to be deployed as a lone 6, so you're not really, if Partey's not there for whatever reason, you're not there. So it's a bit of a myth, really. I would love to see Lokonga make the grade, but bad signings happen. Sometimes things get wrong, and at the end of the day, if he could go on loan again and look decent, let's just break even or make a slight profit and keep it moving, a bit like Tavares and co. Smash the like button. But yeah, I did hear about that beef. Let's make a timestamp. Olise thoughts. Sane/Mane. And I mean, for Mane, boy, for someone not having a great season, it's a bit brazy for him, really. DG Camavinga or Valverde, that's harsh, man. I love both of them. For Arsenal, I'd say Valverde would be better, but I'd prefer Camavinga, French, left-footed, lit. But Valverde is what I think we need to have, that intensity in the middle of the park. Right now, I think Valverde is more consistent than him. But Camavinga's levels, man, you're seeing him show out at left back. And well, if you're at Real Madrid, you can't be in it. We do need level raisers, respectfully. But again, level raisers comes with bread. And, I don't know if we're going to go and get that. And at the same time, I do think, for example, if we was to get Caicedo or Declan Rice, I do think they raised the level of the squad. They've got a lot of experience and things. But I also think, questioning my own logic, because as I've said, sounding like a hypocrite, do they really? Declan Rice been in the scene for a while and stuff. Yeah, he's played in Europe with West Ham. But if we're rocking in the Champions League, is he really that experienced? Really? Like, he's obviously a good player, but really? Caicedo played 20, close to 30 times in the Premier League for Brighton and played at the World Cup as well. Is he really experienced? Because Declan Rice, and not even just age, Declan Rice and Caicedo, age is a factor, but they're not more experienced than Xhaka and Partey. So I'm almost sounding like a hypocrite, really. But and do they really raise the curtain levels? Like, yeah, we know in the future, but for the Champions League / the Premier, whatever next year, is Declan Rice necessarily right now? Can we wholeheartedly agree in this chat that Declan Rice is better than Xhaka? Or anybody else? But if they can come here, grow and things like that, why not? We need to make some clever additions. A loan for Lokonga is the right one for him next season. Also essential on the free, not first choice, but Champions League experience and plays right wing. To be fair with him, you're hearing smash the like button, people. There's over 100 of you, and we still have not got 100 likes. We've got 35 of them. If you smash the like button, one love. If you haven't, what are you doing? Where was we? Asensio allegedly is close to signing a new deal. Liverpool scammed buying for Mane. To be fair, you know, Mane said, I want to cut, really. Appreciate the love, man. Do you think Arsenal should get a right back? Yeah, bring that Fresnel to you immediately, man. I do think we need a right back because it's a bit selfish, but I want the best of both worlds. Benjamin White, that's your spot to lose. Keep doing what you're doing. If you can get Fresnel, obviously 18, 19 years of age, don't expect him to immediately challenge Benjamin White like that, but there's an option there that can play as an inverted right back. You've got Tomiyasu who can play again elsewhere. And obviously, if we're in this, there was obviously 2 injuries to Saliba and Tomiyasu, but if we're in this situation again next year, then maybe, you could say, you know what, Benjamin, go over to centre-back for a minute, or Tomiyasu, and there's not really a knock-on effect because if Tomiyasu was fit, big up Holding, and it's nothing to do with him, but I think if Tomiyasu is fit, I think Benjamin White attacks a lot more in the Liverpool game. I think I don't think Benjamin was that good, neither do I think with Saka, but I also believe is a big part of that because they believe, you know what, I can't leave too much space like I normally could because Holding maybe doesn't have that athleticism. But then again, as I said, I think Holding was one of the better Arsenal players on the pitch. I don't think Benjamin White was. So where are you at with that? The Lokonga Nketiah moment on the dock said it all for me. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I love Eddie's mentality, and for Lokonga, I wouldn't say he's spoiled, but you got to realize your talent got you in the Arsenal room, and in life, nobody cares. If you want a spot, go and grab it. Every minute he's moaning about first team football and moaning about the Belgium national team. Can you say you've taken your chances? In a day and age where players have had to be patient, but you've seen Nketiah make a name for himself. Nelson hasn't been given too many minutes, but he's made a name for himself of sorts and maybe even earned a new deal. And there's plenty of others. Can Lokonga wholeheartedly say he's taking it? No, really. He needs to get with it. How long do we wait for him to get good, though? Bro, for me, I'm not waiting for no one. I just said you go on loan again. If you have a standout season like how Balogun's having, for example, we could entertain Lokonga. If not, at least you put yourself in the shop window. You get sold, you cut, we keep it moving, really and truly. We cut our losses. You can tell who had the mentality and who didn't. Even that, I think I'm harsh. I can't question Lokonga's mentality, but for me, it don't seem like you're really with it like that, really. You ain't got that dog in you. We need a world-class 8 who can grab a game by the scuff of its neck. We're missing that in some games. Yeah, and I would also say defending someone that always wants the ball, someone that knows when to play them expansive passes, someone that knows when to, go, just control the tempo of a game, because, again, that could have helped us against Liverpool when we're facing barrage on barrage on barrage. I do think we had that at 6. We could see out the game. Evidently, I know why Jesus came off. He's clearly not 100% fit, but I do think watching the game again, to a degree, Odegaard, but taking off Jesus kind of cost us because we're just clearing it and it's going straight back to Liverpool, really. If we had a strong man who could knock it into his chest and whatnot, he gets fouled, we get further up the pitch, or at least there's an out ball, someone that can hold up the ball, and there's maybe even counter attacks with Martinelli and Saka, like we saw on occasion in that second half at Anfield. Zubimendi, Telemans for free, the defender from Frankfurt on a free, a right winger, and Ndika. And a striker. Are you talking about Ndika? It's not that I'm against him, but you just signed Kirill, who's left-sided. You've just got, obviously, Gabriel. I'm more on a right-sided centre-back. Now, I'm not someone, if you can play, whether you're left-footed or right-footed, if you can play left-sided centre-back, you should be able to play on the right, innit? But I think that one's probably a myth. And for him, he might sit there and be thinking, boy, what's the Kirill's coming, I might back myself to play ahead of him, but am I going to play significantly? Milinkovic-Savic would be a good signing. He's like Xhaka, but more mobile. Is he necessarily, though? I like Milinkovic-Savic, but he's one of them I start to feel, is the thought better than the reality? Like, is he really that much of a curtain raiser? And it looks like he's going to want semi-decent wages, really. Rafael yesterday looked scatty, but I can see why people like him. He's raw. He needs a lot of polishing. I'm only on signing Rafael. I like Rafael. If we didn't have a congested left-hand side with a fit Smith role, with Martinelli, with Trossard even, and maybe even other options, I would be for it. If Arteta said he wanted to sign Rafael for the FOV, I'd be like, yeah, cool, do your thing. But unless he can play off the right-hand side, or unless he can be converted into a striker, which I think Arteta would have to be, or anyone would have to be very hands-on, and learn how to play with his back to goal and all that jazz. I'm not for it, man. I like him. He's raw, he's scatty, he's great in open spaces, but he can be quite wasteful. As you said, he's raw. We could do a lot worse. I know there's contract rumblings and stuff, but you'd imagine he's going to cost a pretty penny. He's not going to be cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Camavinga is shining, even though he's playing at an unnatural position. You're right. Smash the like button and subscribe. Join the nation. Smash the like button for the birthday guy. Every like is a happy birthday. One love. Imagine Mane at Arsenal. I mean, 31, I would take it, but if we could be cute. But yeah, I think the squad is 85% complete. I'd say 60. I think very soon Arteta is going to have to make harsh decisions on over some players that we actually love, really. And I think when you remove the romance, we need certain, like, we need to go up levels. You know, if we was to sign another striker, I think that would benefit Arsenal squad, because then obviously I know Jesus wants to play up front, but it opens up the capacity for him to play elsewhere. At this point, Sambi's transfer value is low. He and the club need time for him to raise his level in order to be sold in a way that's mutually beneficial, let alone whether he can compete for Arsenal. And for him, I think he's best either going to Burnley and playing under company his Belgian brother and his former Anderlecht don, or staying at Palace, because, you know, I don't know, unless you become a dramatically better player by the time July rolls around, you're not going to get too much football. Now, I do think people forget there's a Euros next year. So there's a lot for some players to consider, really. So it could be worth, if you're going to, the least you need to do if you want to get called up to Belgium is play. Are you necessarily going to get that with Arsenal? Even if Arsenal, which I hope doesn't happen, if we don't make a single midfield signing, can you say Lokonga would get regular football if everybody's fit and we don't sign anyone at this moment in time? Probably not. You know, I'd advocate for you to play ahead of El Nene because you're younger and we want you to be here long term. But if we're chasing 3 points and doing what we're doing, if I'm Arteta, I'm betting on El Nene. I know, like, what, there's 9 games left. I know if I have to, and I'm not saying Lokonga can't have good games and El Nene can't have bad games, but with these 8-9 games left, if I had to throw one of them in there, if God forbid, if a madness happened to someone, I'm going to bet on El Nene. I know El Nene is going to give me a level of consistency, minimum 5s and 6s out of 10. Now, that's not amazing, but if everyone else does their job, that's enough. With Lokonga, against Liverpool, he might be man of the match. Against West Ham, he might need to get hooked at half time. It's one of them ones, really. We need, you know, as great as Saka and Martinelli are, they're playing because they're mad consistent. If you're not playing, bar a couple, it's because you're not consistent. Even Eddie Nketiah has found a level of consistency in his game, which saw him do quite well when he had to fill in for Jesus. Saka is consistent. Goals and assists are one thing, but everything he does, Martinelli's gone up a gear. Smith Rowe has shown elements of that. You know, Fabio Vieira hasn't necessarily shown that. I love Tomiyasu, but apart from the game against Salah, when fit, you haven't showed that, really and truly. That's why you're not playing. Benjamin White, the right back spot's yours because of the consistency. Same goes for Gabriel, Saliba, exaggerating, but Ramsdale and the rest of them, really. We could have used Fresnel at Anfield. Defo get a left back. Zinchenko can move into midfield. How convinced is Arteta on Zinchenko playing organically in midfield, not drifting into midfield? How? Because if, you know, at City and at Arsenal, you find yourself as a left back, as great as Zinchenko is, and he, you know, Zinchenko's brought a lot to this team, and he goes into midfield anyways. I would love to know, what is the reluctance to, what is Zinchenko missing to? He might not be missing anything. It might just be, I saw an opportunity, I did it. But what is he missing to not play in that midfield? If push comes to shove, I'm sure Arteta will do it, but there's got to be a reason you didn't really play in midfield like that at City. You saw an opportunity at left back, you took it, but and Arteta hasn't started you in midfield. And if he has, it ain't been too many times. So it's not even a negative to Zinchenko, but what is he missing? Even though I agree that he can be moved into midfield, that was something obviously we conceded, but there's got to be some sort of reason. They have the ability to raise the level future-wise, and it's not a mad level drop. Plus, they're more athletic, which we need. I hear that. This window will complete the process. I'm not too sure, but we'll move closer, man. Mane and Salah are quality, but credit has to go to Klopp for their development to world-class players. Arteta will do the same with our players who are just entering their prime. Hear that? Lokonga gives me Ainsley Maitland-Niles vibes, entitlement. To be fair, I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles just likes acting up, really. I wouldn't say he's entitled, if I'm honest with you, but I can see why, you know. Even Balogun, like, these guys are always acting on social media. It's a bit attention-seeking, but all they really want, I guess, is a bit of love. Run up the likes, people. Appreciate across the pond. DG, Premier League experience is important. Arteta has already brought in 8 Premier League. You bring in the right ones, you know. He learned from bringing in, you know, Cedric and Willian and these guys, and he's learned from it. You're right. if it helps us. Holding ain't been bad, man. He stepped up, but again, we've got to be harsh, man. We took out Odegaard. That was a mistake. I think we lost organization. We lost Odegaard's the captain, but we lost how he organized. We lost the press. We lost anything close to the press, and we lost a bit of ball retention. Not that by the time Trossard came, Odegaard came off, we was doing that anyways. I know there's no chance, but Bellingham would be perfect for the team. He'd be lovely in that 8 row. But like you said, it's a madness. One love for the birthday message. Gundogan on the 3, I think he's class and helps us to the tie. I would love him, but with our project, and I know we've accelerated it. If it takes 2-3 years to get Arsenal where we need to be, that's great for Saka and these guys. They're nowhere near their prime. Gundogan, it's probably time to think about coaching. And he's been in the Prem for long. I'm sure, Arsenal would be an attractive proposition to Gundogan with Arteta, with what the club is doing, with historically what we are, the London aspect. But I just have the feeling Gundogan's of that, I've did my years in the Prem, Barca are onto me. As a centre midfielder, if what Xavi was as a player, if Xavi's saying to come let me manage you, are you really going to say no? So I think the Gundogan one's a myth, man. Arsenal fans always wanting top wingers when we've already got a few worldies. You can never have too many good players, can you? Really? Milinkovic-Savic adds technical ability and goals to the midfield, but he's so poor defensively. Would bring some stardust, though. That's exciting to think only 60%. Do you rate Balogun? How can you not rate Balogun? I like Balogun a lot. He's a very likable player. He's going up the gears. I think people are doing too much, but yeah. DG, remember when you said you could only trust 9 players? And we're back now. We're back now. Nicely so. It's funny how life changes, man. Big up 2-3, because now I can trust the vast majority. There's definitely more than 9. There's more. I can trust the majority of the squad if push comes to shove. There's a couple of players that I trust, but I don't trust, like Rob Holding. You know me, he's better than Cannavaro. I just feel if Arsenal want to go where we need to go, that's an upgraded position. I like Eddie Nketiah, but until you show me more, squad player thing. And if there's an option to bring in a striker, you might be in issues in that regards. Who else? I like Turner, but I'm not when I think I'm sold on Turner, you then make me see some shaky stuff. But I like you. But I would say if there's an option to find a better number 2, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't push for it. So yeah, man, the squad are doing what they need to do. Really, come a long way. Kiwior, the jury's still out as well. Not that he's had many times to showcase himself. He clearly looks raw, a bit like Fabio Vieira. I'm going to give you next season to really show what you're on to. Fabio Vieira has been fighting injuries since he started his life at Arsenal. Obviously, the squad has been decent, so he's not been able to get much game time. He's played in a variety of positions. So I like you. I think you're a good player. I think you can help us, but you haven't earned my trust yet because I haven't seen that. Kiwior, I'm not sure. I can see why Arteta. Obviously, one reason is the team's just doing what he's doing. And if Gabriel weren't playing good and Saliba was moving shaky, maybe Arteta would sit there and say, do you know what, Kiwior, you're going to get a run. But we're fighting for whatever we're fighting for. I don't check the league table. We're moving where we need to move as a club. There's not really a couple of Premier League games off the bench. Obviously, the Sporting Lisbon thing. I'll give him till next season, really and truly. And guys like him, I can see why Arteta might not be playing you all the time because you seem like you're still adapting. Onene is unlikely to have a shocker. You know exactly what you're going to get. And that's not a bad thing, Why isn't this? Sorry about that, people. You can see, big up you lot for the happy birthday message. I put it on silent. The phone is buzzing off. Appreciate that, my guy. Happy birthday to your daughter as well. Aries gang. We're some real G's. Question, Jude Bellingham for 125 million or Rice and McAllister for midfield? 2 heads are better than 1, but it's Jude Bellingham and that. You see, I want to say Rice and McAllister, but Bellingham, man, I'm hella biased, man. One love, my guy. One love, you lot, for the messages. Olise is talented, but does come across as a bit full of himself. Not sure that works for Arteta. I mean, if you can work with Vieira, you can work for Arteta, and you can be full of yourself. You can be full of yourself, but as long as you're humble, you've got a willingness to work. I think he'll be calm, really and truly. I don't think Olise is an idiot. You're not the finished article and whatnot, so you could be full of yourself. I know you're not. It's a legit concern, and I know it's not the same. But when we're signing trust out people, oh my God, he's falling out with De Zerbi. Arteta's gonna get onto him and all of this. Like, how do we? I know Arsenal players look humble. and they probably are. But how do we don't know them? Like there could be someone even more cocky and white, and even and someone even more full of themselves in that Arsenal team. We don't know them, you know. As long as you know when to be humble, you don't think you're better than anyone. We leave our egos at the door for the benefit of the collective. That's great, but we don't know. I have the feeling Eddie Nketiah is extremely self-confident, and I like it. It comes from within, but we don't know them. We've never sat and had a drink with them and whatnot. So there could be people that are worse and whatnot. If I was Saka, I would be, man. I like the Gravenberch link. Yes, he's not an immediate level raiser, but you can't miss out on that sort of talent, in my opinion. Facts. Appreciate that, Trevor, and everybody else. Zinchenko should have come off at 60 minutes, and Kyrgios should have stayed on the bench. That wasn't the game for him. I hear that. We must upgrade on Holding and Xhaka. I really like Balogun. He's stronger, growing, and confidence high. That's what we want with a shot. Exactly. You know, again, at the end of the season, Balogun can look back and say, right, I'm a better player than I was a year from now. And that's the ages these lot need to be. What can I do to I look back in 12, 18 months, I'm a better player. And your move to Reims has been backed up. And you have to give credit to Balogun for the willingness, Reims for assessing the player, knowing how he can be utilized. And also Arsenal's loan manager. We're having better loan spells now. Obviously, you know, there's a couple. Patino's doing his thing at Blackburn. He's on of late, I would say Ainsley Maitland-Niles, even though it's been turbulent with Southampton fighting for their lives and a couple of managers, he of late has started to show his quality, really. You know, I really hope Southampton stay up, man. Can you imagine Ainsley Maitland-Niles, 2 relegations on your CV? It's peak. Trust, but verify. Verify meaning show me your... Exactly. Balogun's going to get sold. People need to stop crying over it. We ain't media anymore. If he leaves, then we're still good. No issues. I hear that. Happy birthday, DJ. I think I discovered you on your birthday 2 years back. Time flies. One love, man. Appreciate that. And time does fly, man. Kieran Vieira, young, they will come good next season. I hope so, because the way we're at, the better we get. I'm not saying every player that struggles you need to sell or and all of those sort of things. But at some point, you need to be a bit harsh, really. And if we're going to be a consistent Champions League club, a consistent club that is fighting, sometimes we need to know when to cut our losses. You know, Lokonga, Vieira, Kyrgios, 2 of the 3. In fact, I've got relative confidence in all 3, but 2 of the 3, you know, might not make it. If Lokonga persists, it's a myth. If Kyrgios this time a year from now is getting chances and looking shaky, then we need to assess. Cool, we spent 17 million. How do we make that back? Signings go wrong all the time. We'll make good signings, just like we'll make bad ones, but we need to know when to cut our losses. But, you know, I don't want to write off a man for being a couple of months into what's probably a 4 or 5 year deal, and he needs to adapt to life in England, the pace of the Prem, what Arteta demands of him. It probably is a culture shock, and, you know, Arteta at times is being a bit harsh this year. I mean, if you're in the squad, you got to be able to be used, and I'm not criticizing Arteta, but, like, he threw Holding the play for time. He threw him in first half against Haaland. You know, Liverpool, Anfield hype. You know, best game to sell to the Premier League being the biggest game. Kyrgios thrown to the wolves, and maybe Kyrgios let the occasion get to him, because I'm sure we all saw about 10 seconds him being on the field. He absolutely tried to write someone off in the middle of the park, really. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. One love for the birthday messages once again. You lot are far too kind. You need a bit of arrogance to be a top player. Look at Henry, Messi, Ronaldo also having humility. I mean, I would say in British society, it's not, people can't see the two, you know, really and truly. You know, you can be as full of yourself as you like, as long as you comprehend there's not, regardless of race, religion, background, sex, I'm not better than anyone in it. And I think a lot of people are like that. But we live in a society where you're not allowed to believe yourself. Look how bad I know it ultimately ended bad, but the minute he signed, the attitude issues, this and that. And I think with being a footballer, we don't know these people, in it. Like we don't know, and it's harsh being a footballer. I could be the most humblest guy, but if someone pees me off or says something I don't like, and you find out about that, people start drawing conclusions on my character. But what I would say is, as well as the great talent ID and things, I think Arteta's people management skills are quite good. Not told Smith Rowe what he said to, I ain't got it to hand, but what he told Smith Rowe when he went Huddersfield, what he said to Balogun, like, you know, I want you to develop as a man. And it was a bit of an open question. What he's doing with Saka and Martinelli, because, you know, Arteta can have the heat maps, the tactics, all of these things, but you need to be able to convey in layman terms what you want, because just because Arteta is a madman with the tactics, bare scribbles, doesn't mean all his footballers can comprehend that. So he needs to simplify it and make sure his players can take that on. And he also needs players have to buy into him, but players have to find something to buy into. And when you look at Arteta, he's extremely charismatic, and the players want to do it as well. Arteta doesn't need to sit there and tell them, "Oh, we dropped 2 points at Anfield," for as many positives as you could take. That's why you're seeing what Saka and Martinelli and things are doing. And I like the timing of when Arteta does things. You know, this time a year ago, people, or maybe last Jan, people say, "Oh, Martinelli has to go alone. He's not playing," and this and that and the other. And now look at Donny. I think Lokonga has to be moved on. Kyrgios has pace and a great left foot, good potential. I hear you. And I know Arsenal fans were clipping up the sprint thing, but if I'm harsh, I ain't praising no footballer for sprinting. I'm not going to lie to you. I ain't praising no one for being fast. I can't lie. You know, man, I need to see what... Obviously, you know, you've shown you can play in midfield. Players are... Maybe we could get something out of you. And for me, I hope to a year from now, you know, you're pushing Gabriel's spot, because Gabriel's had a great season anyways, and I think Arsenal fans are finally giving him his praise. But at the same time, I also feel when we was doing well, it was just all Saliba. Gabriel never got his sort of love. It was like having two sons, in that Gabriel's the favourite, Saliba's the black sheep of the family, and it's like Jazz, but it felt like he was kind of crucified with Saliba. It weren't that deep, but I think now Gabriel is getting all the praise. But is it a coincidence that, think about it logically, you know, if you're Gabriel and you see the gaffer bringing in a centre back, you're going to take that personally. Obviously, we know we need a squad and things, but think about it logically. Would you not take that personally? If I'm Saka and I see a right winger come in, I'm like, "Bro, why is the club buying him?" And we all know that, and they know as well you need players and that. But I'll be like, "Wow, like Arteta, like, what? Do you think he's better than me? You're not better than me. I'm going to show you in training and on the pitch." So I think there has to be some sort of correlation with Gabriel really going up a level and Kyrgios coming in, which is indirectly what you want to see. As much as it boosts the squad, it makes players get ants in their pants. You know, again, the only way is down for Saka. You play week in, week out. Martinelli's stolen Smith Rowe's spot now. The only way is down. You got Trossard fighting for that. A fit Smith Rowe. There might even be a next one, etc. Me to start my channel. Big up yourself, man. I can't claim credit. You motivate yourself, my guy. But if I helped with the creative thought, appreciate that, man. 77 likes. Let's keep going. One love for the kind messages. But yeah, Brooke Norton Coffee's looking good. I think what goes against him is we want a right back, in it. Like, he's to play in that inverted role. I don't know if he's technically up to scratch yet, but he's got a good mentality, and I really think he'll exceed and has a great future. I would love to see as many Haylenders, so we back him, but I don't think he'll be in the... You never know if we don't bring in a right back, but I don't think Brooke will be in the fray next season for Mikel Arteta, with it being the Champions League. One love, Phil, as well. We'll have to see, really. Pardon me. Balogun, minimum 40 million now. Eddie, 30 million now. We have developed them now. We upgrade. I'm all for that. Benjamin White is full of himself. People don't know these players. Exactly. Benjamin White is full of himself. I love him. But he's got humility. He knows I'm not better than anyone. I have not achieved nothing, you know. So, yeah, be full of yourself. Benjamin White's a lovely player. But I don't... do you know what? Benjamin White's probably top 5 favourite Arsenal players right now, because he's a shithouse. He's a rattler. He's, you know, he's one of them players you want to start fighting on Sunday League. You know, he's one of them players that, if he plays for your club, you like him. If you don't, it's a bit like Robertson at Liverpool. If he doesn't play for you, you want to, in a nice way, you want to see him get clamped and clamped again, really and truly. But you do need a bit of arrogance, man. Appreciate that, Justin. Olise, I'm down with. Seems like an Arsenal player, not spent so much on a good winger. I'm all for it, and it all depends what Arteta wants to do. One love, man. You lot are far too kind. I don't think we'll be playing with fullbacks anymore, more inverted fullbacks, really. Even if Kyrgios doesn't really bang for us, if his presence pushes Gabriel to improve, then he's a good signing. That's true. I must admit, obviously he came and started playing as a member of a back three, but watching the game again, a part of me felt, you know what, Kyrgios played a year or so. I weren't watching him week in, week out at Spezia, but he played in defensive mid. Maybe Arteta, you could have taken off Xhaka, gone free at the back anyways with some other profiles, and maybe just put him in defensive mid with Partey. You lot just fug it out and try and get us 3 points. Hey, DG, why are we talking 25 million for Balogun if Chelsea paid 88 million for Mudryk, someone who has played 30 games in the Ukrainian league? Balogun must be worth more. He's a top goal scorer in Liga. You're not wrong, but what I would say is, you know, Mudryk had the hype train around him. You know, Shakhtar didn't want to sell. Again, respectfully to Balogun, higher class clubs wanted Mudryk. We wanted him. There was indirect talks with AC Milan and all of these things, and Chelsea obviously got him. To be fair, you've got into AC. Who else of that caliber is linked with Balogun? And Mudryk did play in the Champions League and did get a standing ovation. What I would say goes for both of those players is it's always potential nowadays now, and we need to use that to our advantage. If a player goes somewhere, plays for 5 minutes like Balogun did, everybody's onto you. So we need to play into that, really. It's what you can hustle. As we know, a long time ago, what players are worth and their estimated valuations and ultimately the fees they're not correlated anymore. It's what you can hustle now, really and truly. And we've shown we can get deals. We can take advantage of things. Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, 45 million, you know. Certain clubs that are also North London spent 60 million on a Brazilian attacking player. Has he scored in the Premier League yet? I know Saliba has a couple of times. I know Benjamin White has a couple of times. I know Lisandro Martinez has. I don't know if Richarlison has, really and truly, to the point where Spurs fans are happy that he scored for Brazil in the World Cup, where him and Gabriel Jesus left with nothing. In fact, Gabriel Jesus was injured for a couple months and he's still not lapped him, really and truly. Benzema's probably got more goals against an English club than Richarlison. And obviously Zinchenko was a good deal in hindsight. Martinelli, Saka was for free, but you get the point. We've also shown that we'll spend the bag if required, really. Cute addition be Trossard as well, taking advantage of what's going on there. We've shown we'll spend a pretty penny. At the time, Benjamin White was slightly overpriced, 50 million off the back of one Premier League season. But Arteta was convinced on his talents. We're running with it now. I don't quite think that with Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale's a bit different to that, but you could force Ramsdale. So I would say our hit success rate with signing players has been a lot better. We've made bad signings under Mikel Arteta, of course. You know, Pablo Mari, Cedric, Willian, Aubameyang, new deal. We have to hold that, but the decision to reintegrate Saliba and when to reintegrate him, Benjamin White's addition, Tomiyasu's addition when fit, you know, Ramsdale's addition, you know, Martinelli wasn't his signing, but to groom Martinelli to be ready again, proving existing is better, Smith Rowe or Sancho. What do you mean? I don't understand the question. Big up yourself for as well. Once Balogun said he wanted to be a starter and only a starter, Arsenal loses some leverage and value they can only place on him. I think the only issue is that he's contracted for 2 years. Really, like, you're in a strong position. You don't want to. Next summer, you're going to have to sell him for a pretty penny. And, you know, again, to be fair to Balogun, it is media talk. We don't know what he has or hasn't said. But if I don't, for some reason, I don't think Balogun has sat there and said, I want to be first choice or I'm not going to, or I want to leave. I don't think Balogun could be that stupid, bro. You weren't at Arsenal that long before you went out on loan, but you know what Jesus is as a footballer. You saw him in training. Eddie and Ketty are cool. You should be believing you're better than him. Right now, Eddie's probably ahead of you in the pecking order. Trossard is probably bad news to both of them. For me, if we could, I would like another striker. I just think he wants to see how he fees in, and he's just doing the maths. And he's like, whether you're a striker, winger, whatever, Arteta can only start so many. Only certains can be on the bench. We're getting better as a team, so there's less chances we're going to be in the Champions. If Arteta can tell me stuff, I have to be open to going somewhere where I can. I'm not at the club. I'm going on loan. I'm this and that. I think he's open to everything, really. I think he's open to staying. I think he's open to leaving, and as he should be. You know, you need to remove the romance from this football thing at his age. I'm sure he wants to make it here. He wants to make it here, but he needs to be open to everything potentially possible. So yeah, that's what I would say in relation to Mr. Balogun. And for Arsenal, but hey, Balogun in the future, we might sit there and say, oh, we sold him, it's too cheap. Or we might say we've done the right thing. Either way, make for this club, really and truly. Not everyone is gonna do the Saka thing and Smith Rowe thing and make it at the football club. Some people are gonna be like potentially Ainsley. Really and truly. Who are your dark horses for Europa? I don't know. We're at the point. Is there any dark horses in there anymore? Having said that, if we get an offer of 40 million, take it and run, bro. If you get offered 40 million, I'm on that. I believe him in saying he wants to be the main striker, not necessarily at Arsenal. Like he said, he's tasted playing football and probably doesn't want to be third place striker. Bro, you've tasted first team football, bro. Man's playing with Neymar, against Neymar and all these guys. You're playing week in, week out. You're one of the most decisive players. It's very difficult to go back to sitting on the bench, where at least for next season, any injuries can happen. But as you've seen, it's really the second half of the season, like Eddie last year, like you're seeing with some players getting chances now. It's only the second half of the season that really, now the injuries, fatigue, multiple competitions, at least from August until December. Yeah, there'll be plenty of games and stuff, but you'd have to be patient. So I'm not too sure, really. And I know his international future hasn't been decided, but if you go on loan again and do well, you might get in the England conversation. You might get in the America conversation. You might get in the Nigeria conversation, which I can't wishes as well. Again, sell Eddie and Nketiah and Balogun to get Tony. Not necessarily because, you know, the price they're going to put on Tony is probably what I don't want to pay for Ivan Tony. An elite player would be great in our squad, really. That's the sort of profile and the way he plays and all them things. Then, yeah, cool. I don't think Eddie Nketiah is going to leave, at least now anyways. You've signed a new deal. You've played fairly regularly, building on what you're doing last year. You're a valued member of the squad. The team's going to be in the Champions League. You've got Arteta's trust. So, yeah, man, you're just going to do what you're doing, really. Can't keep everyone. Look at City. They sell their players all the time. Look at Lavia. You know, and the better we get, the less chances. Respectfully, some of these young players, rightly so, took advantage of spots that were available because we didn't have a good squad. No one was really doing anything. Now Arteta has found the squad in 11. There's going to be less chances, really. Balogun should be given a chance. I hope so, but not everyone can be given a chance. What is the squad? Then fine. But what is a chance? I don't think he should just start games for the sake of it. Are you better than, you know, many people can say you play out wide. And I would love to give him a chance. You're going to play him left wing ahead of Martinelli, Trossard, and Cole at this moment in time. You're definitely not going to play him on the right. If Jesus is fit, are you going to play him ahead of Jesus? At this moment in time, would you put Balogun ahead of Trossard and Martinelli? If you would, fair enough. But I think you know where you're at. So again, not everyone can have a chance. It's unrealistic. It's like life. You know, if life was fair, we'd all have a lot less people. Listen, I'd love for Balogun to get opportunity. Hey, Lender, you know, it'd be difficult. It'd be upsetting to see him not, you know, at least bag a Prem goal for us in that. But sometimes this is how life works, people. 5 more likes until we have 100 people. Smash the like button if you haven't. Your conversation is important. I've said this before, but I'd rather we bring back Balogun and go all out for Rice in the summer. So only 2 signings. I must admit, as much as I like Balogun, I'm not really convinced in Balogun and Nketiah, Jesus. I am convinced in the right wingers and rocking up in the Champions League. I do think we'd need a bit more, really, if I'm honest with you. Like, Balogun ain't tasted that. And again, the Premier League's a different ball game, and I do think people are looking at Balogun with rose tints, not to discredit anything, but it's very different from when you're Premier League. And we're in a Mikel Arteta team. It's not just goals, it's all the others. And we've seen it with Martinelli, with Saka, with Smith Rowe. Fans haven't always been nice to these guys, you know, exaggerating a bit with Saka, but it looks tired, man. He's not the guy, man. So you're not going to get that, really. One thing I like is that Balogun is out of the mix. Yeah, fans are going to gas up the goals and that, but very few Arsenal fans are watching 90-minute games. Like many people, everybody knows the man has 18 league goals to his name. How many people watched at least 20 odd games that he's played? And forget the games he's played well. Where's he struggled? That's not me trying to catch people out. We only know where you need to improve is where you struggled. Where did you struggle? How did you affect a game without necessarily forgotten and not missed? Writing's on the wall, innit? You know, in an ideal world, he'd be moved on in some capacity, whether that's cutting up his contract or just biting the bullet. If you watched Balogun, you would know he's not getting consistent game time for us. I can't rule out anything, and strikers take a while, but as I said, it's almost like a shiny new toy. Things would look a Balogun was here, and they were both done exactly the same things they've done in the reverse up until this point, really. So it all depends how you. And we're actually getting somewhere as a football club. Smash the like button. Keep your opinions coming, people. Let's look at what's going on in the latest news and all of these sort of things. Is the screen is this changing? Yes, cool. So we'll look at these things. Appreciate that Gooner Birdie. Doesn't do enough of the things Arteta wants from his strikers, but he's improving. Balogun, Eddie 75 helped to invest that into Osimhen, Felix type striker. I hear that. Apparently, again, for me, people, this is completely off topic, but I did someone actually commented and reminded me I did a video on Mr. Thuram from Nice. Bring him, man. He's drawing interest from Real Madrid, Liverpool, Man United. Bring him. He's recently, along with his brother, been called up for France. Thuram of Nice needs to listen. He will help us in midfield. 22, 21 years of age, but bring him. He ties into what Arteta wants. Allegedly, people, Balogun set for crunch talks with Arsenal at the end of the season. Inform Folarin Balogun is due to hold crunch talks about his future at parent club Arsenal at the end of the 2022-23 season. 90-minute understands. We all know his form has been good. He has 18 goals in France, just in the league, just one fewer than Mbappe, which is, even he probably didn't expect that. Allegedly, sources have told 90-minute Balogun is due to hold talks about his future with the Gunners this summer, and he intends to make it clear that if he is not guaranteed first-team opportunities, he will be keen to leave. Another loan move, while Arsenal would be keen, has been ruled out by the strikers' reps, so a permanent move is the most likely outcome. Fair enough. And he just wants to see, I just think Arteta has to have an honest conversation with him. This is what them man have that you don't. You probably are or aren't going to get football in this spot. But if you show me you deserve to play, you'll get your chances. If it's not a conversation of that, I think it's peak. You're right, DG. The Premier League is different. Pepe killed it in the French league. Eddie is back, but I don't think he'll be getting minutes with Jesus back. I think he'll make fair appearances off the bench. Thank you for that, Malachi. Appreciate the birthday stuff. What if Jesus gets injured or Jesus is playing in every competition? Having a second striker can't be bad. Where once have I said having a second striker is bad? I want us to bring in a striker. I've literally said I'd love Balogun to get an opportunity. I'm a fan of keeping Eddie. I like what Trossard's brought. You're right. But Eddie don't really want to do that, really. I think Eddie would be sold in the summer, DG. With Balogun, I mean, you never know. And if Arsenal are planning to bring in a forward, why not? But with kind of itchy feet from Balogun, does it make sense to sell Eddie a year or so after signing a new deal as well? I'm not too sure, but everyone's got a price in this world, didn't it? I guess. Again, people allegedly were interested in Diaz. Fabio Capello has said he likes him. He said, I was wrong about Brahim Diaz. I didn't like him as a player. I thought he wasn't at Milan's level, but now he has completely changed, improved. He has matured a lot physically and mentally. Before he did a little something. Now he just does the things that are needed. Now he makes the difference. Fair enough. Arteta, if you think you can give him what you gave Odegaard, why not? We've been linked with Olise. Plenty of publications have been linked with Arsenal, with linking Arsenal with Olise. Arsenal want to sign Crystal Palace star Olise. Arsenal reportedly interested in signing Crystal Palace winger this summer. The Gunners have had an unbelievable season in the Premier League so far. They're currently on top of the table. I don't look at the league tables. I didn't know that. And if things go to plan in the next 8 games, they'll win the title. Swear. I never knew that. Edu, however, has one eye on the summer transfer. Fair enough. He's been called a special talent. Apparently, they want 40 million for him, and it could drop to 35 million if they're relegated. I hope Palace stay up, so I hope they aren't relegated. But I do believe that would be a small price to pay for what Olise could be in the future, and maybe with add-ons in that. But I think 40 mil is a bit pricey, if I'm honest with you. They're within their rights to ask for it. He's one of their most decisive players, but it's a bit pricey. We sure we can't throw in a Pepe or a Conga loan? Tavares, just something to make that bit. It's a bit pricey. If you want 40 million, if Musa Diaby is allegedly available for 50, and I have mixed opinions on Diaby, you might as well slap that on him. And for what it's worth, people, this was back in January, but apparently Crystal Palace do not plan on losing both Zaha and Olise. Zaha, who's also been linked with us in the last 48 hours and probably leaving on a free. And unfortunately, Crystal Palace have axed the 35 million buy clause from Olise. I'm pretty sure if you go back a few years ago, you saw me do a video on Olise at Reading. We should have spent the 8 million on him, man. Maybe he wouldn't have been here. Apparently, Paris Saint-Germain hold an interest in him. And we've got to remember, he is a France under-21 international. So maybe that's done. It'd be gutting for Palace fans to probably lose Zaha and whatnot. So we'll have to see. But this article back in Jan said Olise is also attracting interest from the Premier League ahead of this summer's transfer window. Arsenal among the clubs monitoring his progress. I mean, with what Olise is doing / done, every top 6 club is probably just keeping tabs on him naturally, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on. It's again his international future. We're talking about Balogun is still subject to speculation. He's eligible to play for England, France, Algeria, and Nigeria, and hasn't been capped by none of them at full international level. So we'll have to see, people. For what it's worth, this was back in Jan again. Palace are understood to have reached an agreement with Olise last year to remove a 35 million buyout clause from his deal, meaning the club are not contractually obliged to accept a bid if it matches the release fee. So that makes it tougher for anyone to think. And what I would say to Olise, does it necessarily make sense to leave Palace at this moment in time? You're playing week in, week out with the greatest respect to Palace. Obviously, there's expectations on him, but there's not expectations on him like that. At Arsenal, bro, if you have a bad game, Saka and these guys might take your spot. At Chelsea, boy, you're going to play. United, oof, Anthony, Sancho, Martial, Rashford, all these things. Liverpool, not quite Mane, but Salah, Gakpo, Nunes, Jota, Firmino. Well, Firmino won't be there anymore, but you get the point. So we'd have to see, really. Arsenal lure the midfielder to North London this summer, but Chelsea are optimistic that he'll stay at Stamford Bridge as they continue to negotiate a new deal. He's also drawing interest from PSG and Barca. I mean, he's 32. And it's not really the age, it's the fact that he struggles to stay fit. On ability and experience, it may, I was very frustrated with Arsene Wenger saying, I knew about Kante since he was 14 years of age. Bro, so why in his 20s is he not at the Emirates, granddad? Nonetheless, allegedly his entourage has spoken. Maybe his entourage has been capping people, but we'll have to see. Where's that? And he's had 4 managers already. It's very turbulent over there, people. According to Le Parisien, Chelsea's North London rivals have been interested in Kante since January. During the window, they plumped for the Frenchman's teammate in midfield, Jorginho, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, people, his entourage has said, N'Golo would like to continue his career in London, where he has his habits. He liked working with Conte, but he has been sacked by Tottenham. Arsenal also made an inquiry. I think he'll extend his deal at Chelsea before going to the Middle East in 2 or 3 years. So fair enough. Going to stay at Chelsea for a bit, and then they'll go get paid. Anyways, Real Madrid are willing to do whatever it takes to win the race to sign Jude Bellingham. It's going to take 130 million. And when you factor in what's happened there? When you factor in the man's wages, the dream is free, the house was sold separately. You've heard Liverpool have moved away from because half the Premier League teams are all linked with the same people. We're going to get onto McAllister in a second, people. But apparently Man United are battling Liverpool and Arsenal for the signature of Gravenberch. Again, people, Chelsea have expressed an interest in Rafinha, so you could expect in the 24 hours to come that we're going to get linked with Rafinha again as Barcelona need to make peas. Liverpool didn't have enough money for Bellingham, and apparently they've also been linked with Declan Rice and Caicedo. They'll also be looking at Barella and Gravenberch, people, as well as Matthias Nunes. A couple of those players are linked with Arsenal and other clubs as well. Liverpool have actually made contact with Brighton over Caicedo. So Brighton are laughing. If Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Co are all fighting for Caicedo, I think United should get in for him as well. Because as you see, if Casemiro's not there, they're in trouble. And also, Casemiro's only one man. So, yeah, everyone's going to be interested. Probably a couple of other Europeans. Again, apparently, Liverpool have Declan Rice and Caicedo on their shortlist ahead of closely. Fabrizio Romano said, I'm told Zaha has not made a final decision on his future yet. Palace are offering him a very important contract. He'll decide in the next few weeks. I'm not aware of concrete proposals or talks with Arsenal yet. So it seems like paper talk with Zaha and not much more to it. And away from that, on Victor Ruge, apparently no official bids at the moment, just talks. The figures will consist of 40 to 45 million. Smash the like button for the birthday, lad, people. Appreciate that. Arsenal, Chelsea and Barca are keen on him. No club in advantage to the others. So again, it's very premature. Things are going to ramp up. Dean Jones has said, I have been surprised to see reports of talks being opened around this in relation to Telemans, because as far as I'm aware, any talks with Telemans aren't that recent. Arsenal do have a long-term interest in him. They obviously know about his availability. That's common knowledge. I mean, yeah, you don't need to be a journalist to necessarily know that. So draw whatever you want there. Arsenal now set for genuine discussion over move for 100 million star at the Emirates. Declan Rice. What has Dean Jones said here? I think if the price is too high, Arsenal would walk away from it. I do expect them to go and have a genuine discussion over this. They asked set at. But if West Ham say they're holding out for 100 million, for example, I don't see Arsenal spending 100 million on Declan Rice. Is that necessarily feasible? Does it make sense? Man United and Liverpool receive boost in McAllister transfer chase after Dad's admission, apparently, people. And he's also been linked with us, people. Let's see exactly what his dad has said. His dad has suggested that the family expect him to move on this summer, and that talks are already underway in regards to an exit at the end of the season. Normally, the next transfer window will find him playing for another institution. We don't know which one. We are just starting talks in general, but it's most likely that Alexis will be playing for another team next July. Surely Alexis will return to Boca at some point. Today, he's just beginning his career in Europe, but on the way back, and when he decides to settle in Argentina again, he'll surely want to play in Boca and demonstrating the level that he can have in a club of this nature in Argentina. That's great. Normally, the next transfer window will find him playing for another institution. We don't know which one. We are just starting talks. We've seen this already. So why is it copied and pasted it twice? So yeah, we'll have to see. Brighton will try all they can to keep hold of Alexis McAllister. They've also proven to be difficult negotiators in the past, as Arsenal will attest to, following their attempts for Caicedo. To be fair, they told us Caicedo's not for sale. We didn't want to hear. What is this saying? Arsenal in talks with bargain fullback who's been spotted at the Emirates Stadium. Okay. According to German journalist Christian Falk, he has claimed that Arsenal have made contact with Wolfsburg star Baku over a move this summer, and the right back is open to a move. Riddell Baku of Wolfsburg got the call from Arsenal. The Gunners are interested in the German player who can play right back and right wing, but they're not alone in their interest, as Chelsea made a call themselves during the winter window. I mean, how many fullbacks do Chelsea need? Villarreal also want to make a bid this summer. Okay. Allegedly, he's been spotted at the Emirates Stadium in the past. Okay, so clickbait, he's gone to it. Apparently, he's got a 15 million euros price tag, which could be a cheap get around. There may be an alternative if we can't get Fresneda. Arsenal plot transfer for Brazilian wonder kid Mateus Gonçalves, dubbed Flamengo's best ever young prospect. Got to be careful of that. But apparently, he's drawing interest from City, Ajax, and Benfica. Check out the previous videos, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on here. He's got a release clause of 88 million, but he could be available for 2.5. So again, I think there's a lot of upside if he develops at Arsenal, great, but that 2.5 million could turn to 25 plus with the right level of coaching. Arsenal target João Paulinho tells Arsenal fans to support Fulham. You think I'm going to forget that you were supporting Sporting? Forget it. When was he linked with Arsenal? Fair enough. Fulham are not going down, so they're going to ask for a significant profit of what they paid. We was linked with Benassi in the summer, people, but apparently despite and last summer and in Jan, but despite that, he said no. Apparently, we tried to buy him in January. He said no, so we went and got Mr. Jorginho. So we'll have to see. We've seen this already. We've seen that already. We've looked at that. With that seems to be any of the paper talk and things like that. Let's make a timestamp. What is that? 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds. Transfer news. So we'll have to see tomorrow. There'll probably be some other names. Mikel Olise was at Arsenal youth between 08 and 09 and is apparently an Arsenal fan. I mean, you're a professional footballer, so it's got to be more than that. But if that has some sort of willingness to sign for us, make it happen, my guy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate that, Bucky. DG, the best transfer window for us would be Zubamendi, McAllister, Fresneda, Diaz, Anderson from Palace, Højlund, or Victor Rugg. Anderson's decent as a right-sided centre back. Diaz, I like him, but I could afford to. I can't see us getting McAllister and him. Zubamendi lit, Fresneda lit, Victor Rugg or Højlund. You're on the right track. We're young up front and defence, so adding experience in the middle isn't a bad idea. We've got that now. We need players with a bit more years in their legs in the middle of the pot. I didn't know Arsenal was at the top of the Premier League. I never knew that. Boy, I don't look at the league table. Last time I checked was in July. We're at the top, but crazy. We've had 8 hard games. Eddie will get game time. We can use Trossard for Odegaard in some games when Odegaard is not cooking. Eddie ain't getting sold 100k wages, and the teams which he could have gone to won't pay him 100k a week. If the clubs who can linked, Eddie is staying. Fair enough. Eddie is back, but don't think he'll be getting minutes with Jesus back. Will, man, we need to utilize the squad. Like someone said there, we've had some very difficult games, man, and we're going to have to be a bit cute and clever with our squad. There's basically Roma and Juventus. I mean, Roma got Jose Mourinho, who's been linked with Paris Saint-Germain, but I would say them then in relation to the Europa, or Sevilla. Hopefully Sevilla can do a job at this moment in time. Who's had the better career from this point on? Well, for the expectation. But Sancho's done a bit more in the Bundesliga. He's played in the champs, been selected for a Euro, so him. But yeah, appreciate that low profile. We all hope. If Balogun was French and having the same season, he'd be going for 80 million euros. I hear that. You're right. Still, he would do. You get this. 6 points till we secure top 4, the aim of the season. Boy, that is lit. That is amazing. If we can do that, that is crazy. Get that done. Pardon me. All right, CeeLo. Don't fall into the attention, you know, that Donny on Twitch is attention seeking. Ignore him, man. Doing some weird subscribe if you haven't already. Bellingham for 120. It's not going to be 120 though. And for Jude Bellingham, as we said on the Euros point, I'm sure all these teams will go for you. And I'm sure I believe Jude Bellingham's going to move on this summer. It just feels like it's coming. But is it necessarily a must for him? You've got you've got a good thing going for you at Dortmund. There's not too much expectation beyond the obvious. You're going to probably be playing in the Champions League. I don't know where they are in Bundesliga. You've got a Euros next summer. If you keep doing what you're doing, like you did at the World Cup, you're going to get that move anyways, isn't it? So is it necessarily this year I must move? What our man saying title hopes finished. I don't know about Arsenal's title hopes top blue, but you know, from what I don't check the league table, but from what I remember, you lot need to get some water and bread in your crib. You know, stop buying takeaways. We're doing other stuff. We don't know what you're doing. You know, calm it down, mate. Don't slander my team, mate. Don't slander my team. You mean to tell me we developed Martinelli, cost £6, and you got what's his name? Is it Mudryk? Shit. I don't know his name. You know, he ain't done nothing. Swear down, Saliba got more goals in the Prem than him. Are you counting pre-assists for him like you do with Hudson-Odoi, lad? Another peasant they tried to compare to Bukayo Saka. Allow it. Allow me, man. Nah, man. You lot the ops. Dortmund just about lost the title to Bayern this year. Still close though. Midrook, yeah, all of that. João Felix, do the right thing. Go back to Spain, brother. You don't want to sign for Chelsea. AS Roma are in concrete talks to sign Hossam Aouar on a free transfer. There's nothing signed or completed yet, but Roma are discussing terms with the midfielder. Eintracht Frankfurt made their proposal weeks ago, but nothing agreed at this stage. What a way to go for this lad. I can't lie, he's gone out tired, man. Yeah, they called him Ukrainian Neymar. They said he's the third best winger in the league in world football. I don't see none of that, bro. They got hoodwinked. They got absolutely hoodwinked. They got sold a broken iPhone. It's crazy. Chelsea love getting zanged. Aubameyang. Ben Chilwell. I see Ben Chilwell signed a new deal at Chelsea and then signed off in style yesterday, didn't he? Reece James, the best right back in the world, boy, dyed his hair blonde for what reason? I know Benjamin White ain't going out like that against them, man. I know that much for sure. Getting sourced. But Champions League next year might be peak. Top Blue, you don't even believe that. Type them emotes without crying. Bro, he scored against Madrid. That's lit. But I've seen Villarreal bag against him. Mudryk was gassed up for scoring against Celtic in that and Leipzig in that. I told man, we're shameless. You snaked it. The only reason I am a dedicated. I think he'll get better. I fully think he'll get better. I'll be the first in line during the hate brigade. You know, and the only reason is because you was talking about joining Arsenal. If you weren't doing the Twitter thing and whatnot, then I would have left you alone. But then I thought about it the other day. Maybe he's just trying to drive his price tag down. Calm. You know, Top Blue will deal with that when we get there. Who's the one player of all you would like to see the most at Arsenal? Well, if money weren't a thing, Vinicius Junior and them kind of brothers there. But yeah, but out of the guys we're linked with, I would love Zubamendi to sign tomorrow, if I'm honest with you. And Fresnadar. And the links have kind of gone, but Gabby Vega, I think there's a couple cute additions to be making in La Liga, if I'm honest with you. I think as I said, Gabby Vega, Zubamendi, Ivan Fresnadar. I think there's some smart additions we can get here if we just whip this correctly. But who knows, man? It's easier said than done, essentially. It's easier said than done. One love for the super chat, K. Appreciate it. Vinny Jr. and Saka, stop it. That would end football. Crazy. And as I always say, Vinicius Jr., I'm sorry, my guy. You know what? There was a time, even Benzema didn't believe in you. I never believed in you. Like, you looked a bit fraudy. Now you're the guy. The Kone guy you rave about. Kone, make it happen. But I just don't think we're onto it. DG, what do you like about Zubamendi? I think he's more physical than I kind of gave him credit for. I think he's better aerially. I think he wins the ball back well. I think he covers his position well. I think he's a typical Spanish midfielder, and I like them guys there. Yeah, I just think he's a good addition, man. Spanish, Arteta must know, how to use you. Probably going to release clause of 60 million euros, but 60 million euros compared to what they're asking for, and slightly different player, but compared to what they're asking for Caicedo, Declan Rice, depending on if the man wants to move, it could be done. Bro, Wirtz would be lit, come a long way from that injury, man. Seems like he's got over them injuries, but we have to see, because that injury is a madness. And he said his advisor come out the other day and said he's staying at least until the Euros of next year, because is it not in Germany? I could be wrong. But yeah, I think he's doing very, very well, man. It'd be lit. Be very lit. To be fair, Reece James ain't gonna be, it wasn't the first, and he's not gonna be the last to get sourced by Vinicius Jr., man. Like, Reece James a good player. I can't lie, his form, like the whole of Chelsea, in my opinion, has been on the floor. If that was Trent Alexander-Arnold yesterday, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold would have, and the whole of the Chelsea Twitch. He ain't, the whole of the Chelsea team was kind of mad. Kepa looked like one of the slightly better Chelsea players, and he was quite meaty, really. And everyone at Chelsea looking mad. Next season, I think Arteta should have 2 separate teams, but one team to avoid fatigue. And now that Arsenal is strong, next season we go harder. Yeah, just have more rotating options. Don't forget to cuss the German striker from Chelsea. I like Havertz though, man. Stinking up the place. Kovacic, come to North London, man. You should still be at Real Madrid, to be fair with you. Real Madrid are what a football club Real Madrid are. Zaha on one wing is one-on-one is a no-brainer on the left wing. He's looking like he's declining a bit physically. Thuram is the truth. Bring him. Saka was poor against Liverpool. Needs a rest. I'm not saying needs a rest, but I think he looks poor. DJ, imagine we had Zubamendi, McAllister, and Odegaard in midfield next season. Be lit. Kovacic, that guy is robbed. That's harsh. Yo, big up DJC, patting the new screen in the end. No, that laptop's getting fixed. This is the MacBook, which is quite temperamental. I kind of hate doing live streams on this, if I'm honest. It's not really built for that. And it's a bit long because, I was a bit of a snob when it came to using the Macs, and now I was back using the Windows. It's kind of trying to remember all the hotkeys, especially when you're using Photoshop. It's like, bro, why is it? I was genuinely getting mad yesterday. It's like, why is this not working? Why is it not working? It's like, okay, I'm actually clicking the wrong things. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Brother Fufano got cooked as well. Bro, Vinny's the truth, man. And what I like about Vinicius Jr., he's just gassing up the fans every occasion. Real Madrid are just different. The agenda goes to Rodrigo now. You need to show you're the guy. Chelsea thought they were getting an iPhone 14 and actually got a calculator. But the thing is, everyone at Chelsea looks meaty apart from Hernandez, and he looked rubbish yesterday, but he's actually looked all right. João Felix looks okay. They got to be able to make sure they can complete that purchase. Fofana is cool though, man. Fofana's gonna get ripped. He's been getting smoked, man. He's not Saliba. It's cool, my guy. It's cool. Saliba could never. God, please, next season in the champs, if we are to lose, can no one get ripped? Yeah, I can't lie. That picture of Vinicius where he's just skipping past Reece James, he's boying him, but Reece James boy on himself. You can't die. You drew yourself out. You should have been humble. If you're gonna do the showman hair stuff, you need to be on violence. It's as simple as that. Bro, we're not you. You're not in it next year. We'll deal with that. Sporting beat us on penalties, mate. That's calm. We take that. We go again. We collapsed you when we went Stamford Bridge. Allow it. What now? Allow it, man. Speaking of Kalash, you seen what Smith Rowe does to you lot. You saw what Martinelli did to Kante. You lot been getting ripped. Well, you're talking. Yeah, it's Real Madrid. Don't try and make out it's a Real Madrid thing. You lot get sourced week in, week out. Villa sourced you lot. Emre and that. Crazy. Big up Une. Allow it, man. You support Chelsea, man. Chelsea, if you want to employ me, shout me though. But top blue agendas. You lot said Hudson-Odoi is better than Saka. I'm not taking you lot in. DG, for that 6 role, gun to your head, who are you picking out of Rice, Caicedo, Zubamendi, Onana, Paulinho, Lavia? Zubamendi, Caicedo, Rice. But it's a Caicedo / Rice. I appreciate that, man. Big up, bro. Happy birthday. I'm out here coaching, and then I hear this blasphemy. Leave Olise alone. To be fair, we know we ain't getting Olise, man. A man said, under the lights, watch along from DG, going to be different headless. Top blue, the wickedest thing is, I agree with you. I know there's that, but it's like, right now it's sunny. I can see the avalanche, but I'm not running. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Next season problems, man. You don't think I'm scared to go to certain places in Europe? I know I'm going to get head loss, but right now it's you. Everyone has to hold their licks. this isn't a great Madrid team. It's all good, but they've been better. I hear that, but it's still Madrid because that is still Madrid. When they still got that hunger, they've still got Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. It could look a lot different. It's still a different animal. And to be fair, let's be real, Arsenal, as great as we've been this year, we've been stressed out with teams that ain't got that. Nah, Gabriel's not your centre-backs. I know my guy Gabriel is going to go out fighting. And I know he's not going to get ripped. He's the sort of guy to play a dodgy 5-yard pass, actually. You know, it could be Zinny, though. Could get sourced. Anyone could get sourced, man. Yeah, there's in general with these big up Broccoli Gooner as well. Do you know what? In general, I think centre backs just have all around the world. I just think centre backs are more prone to bozo moments. Well, at least our managers are not good at Lampard. Lampard literally said we didn't know how good Madrid is. You know, Lampard just drink. Lampard was probably with the Chelsea fans screaming Chelsea, 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 and back in beers, and that is crazy. Speaking of back in beers, with it being my birthday, let's pull that. Give that a little swizzle. And let's enjoy this. Top Blue is a good troll, man, but he's a good sport, man. I can ignore it, but it's like, it's him. Like, Top Blue, he's always here. He's the sort of guy, he could tell me the sky is blue. I'm like, what do you mean? It's purple. What do you mean? Oh, I can't say his name. Is it Agate? He's decent. Sporting got a couple. We need to, again, it goes against British clubs because I know with Brexit, it probably changes, but we can't really take advantage of South America per se. Like, you look at Martinelli, he's got Italian ancestry. I'm sure he's got an Italian passport. That must have helped us get him. We can't really do what Ben. But that's what we need to. I think, as you can see in the present game, it pays to scout these guys. Look at we're talking about Palace and shout out Eagle Eyed Football. Make sure you're following him on YouTube again. Crystal Palace fan makes good content. Reading had Olise there. They spent the 8 million. They can get 40, 50 if they were to sell him in the summer, which they won't. And the more he develops and gets bigger and better, they're laughing in it. 131 likes. Thank you very much for doing such, people. Twitch gang, one love. So it pays to do the due diligence, really. A bit like with us, with Odegaard. You signed Odegaard for peanuts, 24, 25, probably signed him at 23, 30 million euros. We want him bread there. You know, Eddie Balogun, I know we want him to sign a new deal, but he signed a new deal recently. He's done well. A couple of clubs are interested. There's bread there. We're not going to sell Saka, but we've turned Saka into a £100 million player in today's day and age, and Martinelli not too far behind that. There's bread there. So it pays to do due diligence. Obviously, when you look at Trossard, Zinchenko, Gabriel, we've been a bit smart and we've been able to take advantages of clubs, but the problem is them deals are too far and beyond, really. Now you have to put down the money. Everyone knows the Prem team's got bread. Next year, the last season for normal Champions League format. For me, I just hope we get out the group, innit? We get out the group, that's winning the chance for me, innit? Get out the group and we take it from there. Hopefully, you know, we could do a bookie thing. You know, again, I don't like Chelsea, but the last two times they've won the Champions League, especially the first time they won it, it was bookie. We need to do that. Do we get 5 Champions League spots from next year? I don't know. In truth, you're asking the wrong guy, man. Wanted Olise when he was at Reading, he was looking saucy in that 8 role for them. Yeah, he can play deeper in midfield. I think to play at them higher levels, he needs to be a lot more mature. Man said happy 30 if you're boy in it. We got 2 years plus COVID tax. So I'm 28 this year. COVID, what happened 2-3 years ago? Let's bump that. Say that. Happy birthday, DG. Big up the Aprils, baby. Come on, Aries gang, we're wavy. If you're not born in April, I don't know, but shout out to you. People I know that were born in April, but all our parents were busy as hell, innit? I don't know what was going in the water them times there. I was 7 months. I'm premature. I was 7 months, but 7, 8, and 9 months ago, I don't know what everyone was doing still, but yeah, crazy. Your birthday was 2 days ago. Why don't you say anything? Happy belated to a couple of you as well. Yeah, I think Wirtz's profile would be higher if he didn't miss time with a long injury. It's true. And what I would say, as a young player, as you see when Hudson-Odoi, who's probably needy anyways, injuries can be almost to a degree the end of the world for a young player, especially when you're getting them consistently. When you're still a teen, then when you're 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, like injuries are part and parcel of the game. Like even Martinelli, he had a big, you know, Martinelli's reactions to setbacks is what I like his mentality, because he had a big injury not too long ago as well, really. And it feels like it was just the other day. Even Van Dijk, he's not still back up to his best, but look how long he's had to take to look decent like Van Dijk again. Gabby Jesus, Marquinhos, April's baby. So is Carlos Puyo and Anderson, really. Come on. Muscle injuries are the worst, literally never recover from them. And look at Hudson-Odoi, really, you know. When you get them injuries, not Hudson-Odoi, Loftus-Cheek, you get one big injury, then working yourself back, you're getting all these little niggles and knocks and things. That's the worst, really, because there's some footballers that don't get mad injuries, like a bit like Tomiyasu at Arsenal. I know he's had some significant ones, but he always gets this: I'm out for a week, I'm out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it all adds up. Really, the best quality you can have is being available. And I love Tomiyasu, but there might be. I'm not going to turn my back on him. But if this was to happen a second year from now, there's a decision to make, man, because it's been a terrible season from him. The one highlight, you held it up against Salah. You've been really poor in the games you've played, and you know you've not been able to stay fit. Tomiyasu's my guy, but you're right, man. COVID tax, I'm using that. Yeah, COVID tax, man. COVID tax ruined my last holiday. COVID tax, man. I have to claim back a couple of years in that Jogba settings. So yeah, I'm still holding on to them Buki links for Verts from a couple of years ago. You're gonna have to let that one go, man. We don't put the bread down for Verts. It is what it is, really. Even them little knocks, when you're not at least 100%, you lose. And that's it. Again, these dynamic wingers. When you're going out there, when you're trying to do skills, are you thinking, I can't do this skill because I might get hurt again? And I genuinely believe some people don't recover from their mental wounds. We'd love big up yourself, E. Thank you for your message. I'd love Ivan Toney, but again, the fees that they're probably gonna ask, you might as well try to get some other players. They're gonna price Brentford are gonna price him out. He's gonna cost a lot anyways. He's now at England international, as well as just goals. And also on that as well, Brentford, he costs a lot more to Brentford in the sense of how much are Brentford going to have to spend to replace him, even though Brentford know how to identify strikers. He's a talisman on and off the field. He's one of their poster boys, really. So they're gonna put a serious tax on Toney. So that one there is probably a myth, if I'm completely honest with you. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to follow on Kick as well. Have I missed anything out? Don't want to miss out anything with you lot. DG, how are you feeling about our chance in the Champions League? Still think there's a level we need to reach. Several levels. As I just said, bro, get out the group, innit? That's my minimum expectation. Get out the group. Take it from there. If we could do what Benfica, I know Benfica lost their first leg 2-0, but if we could be in that position, I'm all for it, really and truly. We shown in 06 we could do the underdog thing, didn't get over the line. It asks is a different question. And I like the building blocks we've got, and it kills me to say it because I want to be competitive, you know. In one sense, you don't just want to be in a competition for the sake of it. As long as you're in it, try to go all the way. But I can't sit here and say that I'm fully confident in our abilities in the Champions League. In it, just go as far as you can. But the minimum, get out the group. Surely that incoming ban drives the price down on Toney. It could, but then has Southgate called him up because maybe the ban's not going to be that deep? We don't know how long he's not going to be for. You know, really, how long is he going to get a ban longer than you'd get if you was being racist? I don't know. So we'll have to see. How long is the ban going to be for the end of the season? When is the ban actually going to come into effect? When is the court case? Pardon me. So I don't know, man. But that is a good point. Bring up the Kenyans. Derek, appreciative to have you tuned in. So it literally all depends, man. Honestly, like it really does all depend. I don't think there is one single answer for that, really. 136 likes. If you've hit the like button, then appreciative to you lot. Big up Henri. Apparently Henri said Arsenal always have been the club for the people, the streets. Arsenal was one of the first clubs to really have black players, so it did represent the mass of the UK and how the London is. I wouldn't say the mass of the UK, but definitely London. I hope people at Arsenal have. It's true. Statistically, didn't we hit a record in the Prem? I'm pretty sure when I was in primary school for most black players on the pitch at once. Obviously, football don't matter about none of that, but representation is important. I've been inspired by it like that. Being in the Champions League depends on the luck of the draw. Knowing UEFA, they'll do us 30 and give us Barca or Bayern. And it's true, but at some point, you got to be able to do that. Would you be interested in Basuma career revival? He plays for Spurs. Maybe you never look like the Basuma of Brighton. Probably depends where signs as well. You know, if Toney comes to Arsenal, the FA is throwing the book at him. Bro, if Toney we'd sign Toney and he would never play professional football again. Somehow other skeletons would come out the wardrobe as well, or the closet, better yet. It'd be crazy, man. He wouldn't get allowed. Should we browse Google and see if there's Anything else relation to Arsenal? Let's type in Arsenal. Come on, man. Tell us Jude Bellingham's in London. Eddie's chatting to him at Aki-san. He's been linked with Gravenbeck. We already know about that. Already know about Reece Nelson. Talks for a new deal. Apparently, Man United and Arsenal have to spend around 80 million to sign Caicedo. Big up Benassia for scoring yesterday, actually. And it's nice to see Arsenal being linked with Adrian Blake of Watford. Him and Harry Amas, they would be two great signings, people. Really. Which would make sense. But they're young players with needing to grow and develop and that. But yeah, there isn't anything new there. Hopefully Sporting can knock out Juventus. I want Sporting to win the Europa League, actually. At least we lost to the winners. Love Arteta, but Europe isn't one of his strong points. Not that confident about Champions League next year. I hear that. The first club to start 9 black players, the second manager to do so is Vieira. Vieira. You know the rest. We need more versatility, though. We seem to fall off when we don't dominate the ball. As long as we're in it. Exactly. I think, again, we need a number 8 that can. I need a number 8 who can play when there's no reason to play, when the team is pressing the hell out of you. They're not giving you no space. Can you buy a couple yards with a couple of cute touches, get fouled? Can you dictate the tempo of the game? It's a different Champions League's a different ball game, and look where City are right now. They're fighting for the FA Cup. They're fighting for the Champions League. They're still in the league. You need a certain level of a squad, and your manager needs to be cute and clever. And I would say, in terms of building blocks for Arteta, for me, I think that's one thing I want to see him do a bit better. Know when to rotate, even though he has been spot on with that. And over, I think Villarreal. Olympia. I'm sure he was here with Olympiacos where we should have killed that in the first leg. That sort of stuff is still plaguing us to this day. I do think the first leg as well and the second leg, there were certain naiveties from the players as well. But the gaffer, because of our seed in our Champions League next year is going to be a madness. Just praying we avoid Madrid. Bring on anyone, Vinicius or Mbappe. DG, top lead. I was having this conversation with my guy. I think it's a lot closer. I think Vinicius. I know we always talk about like Pedri, Haaland, Mbappe, maybe one next guy that have these potentials. Vinicius surely got to be in the conversation. I think it's close. I'm going to give it Mbappe because I think Mbappe is more decisive than him, but I can't really say that because Vinicius does that. And I think Vinicius has more to his game. I think what Mbappe does, I don't think Vinicius does it better than him. But I think Vinny, there's more to it. He's a bit more saucy with the skillers. Mbappe's it's more pace, and it's a very difficult one. I think it's very close. I'd say Mbappe probably in front at this moment, but it's close, man. I ain't got my tickets for the FA Youth Cup final. I was going to do a watch along for it. 1v1, Vinny is the best in the world. Oh, I think it's close. You know what? Because I do think Mbappe could do it in tight spaces, but I don't think there's any drop-off. Vinicius can do it in tight spaces, or if you give him space, he's going to lap you. So you might have a shout, but then Mbappe is brazy on that left-hand side, man. Mbappe running in behind. The last 2 World Cups from killing Mbappe as well. Literally, even from France at under-19 level, he still plays the exact same way. It's very close. Arteta hasn't been spot on. Sorry, where has it gone? Arteta hasn't been spot on with the rotation. DG definitely got it wrong a few times. I would say that. And where I look at Man United away and Liverpool recently, sometimes Arteta is not that he's made the wrong changes, but I think he can learn when to make subs, but maybe because he hasn't got the personnel. And Mbappe, for me, that World Cup final convinced me. Yeah, I'd say Mbappe. I think it's close, but Mbappe probably leans in front. I wouldn't want to play against any of them. You can't catch Mbappe. Vinicius doesn't care about your feelings. He's just going to bring out all them Brazilian skills and do the most. What about Jack in 1v1? He's lit, but he can't talk to them ones. 1v1, the Napoli Don is probably the best right now. Oh, I don't know. He's up there, but do I think he's better 1v1 against him? If I'm honest. It's Saka, man. Forget all of them. It's Saka. It's Saka. Forget them. It's Saka. Agendas. Shameless. It's all Saka, man. There's a different fear factor when Vinny is isolating your football because you get tight to Vinny, he's going to... It's just the close control. It's a very good one, man. And do you know what? We're just going to have to see in years to come, to be brutally honest, man. We don't have a clue, really. I don't think... And nobody's clear of anyone. Mahrez 1v1 is underrated. I wouldn't say he's underrated, but he's not there with them, man. But yeah, Mbappe is more kind of dangerous in that regards. But with that being said, people, I've enjoyed this close to 90 minutes. The birthday boy is going to clock off and switch off now. I appreciate you lot for tuning in. I appreciate you lot's birthday messages across YouTube and Twitch. Thank you very much. Again, the support and the love means the world. If you haven't liked the like button, smash the like button. Make sure you've hit the like button. Any comments, comment them after the vid. Help the engagement and whatnot. Over the weekend, we'll be back to watch along business at some point today. I need to go pick up my laptop as well, which is the one I use for the watch alongs. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Check out the rest of the vids. I'm gonna love and leave you lot, man. Vinicius is good, Mbappe is good, but I ain't seen them score a goal like this.
Against this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like.